Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for this episode 5 of the Zero to Hero Challenge by Rusty Money Gaming here on Maizy Lou Farms. Now we are in the month of December. So I had told you last episode I'd probably see you in spring. So obviously I have changed my mind and I do have a few things to share with you. You can see that our building here has changed. That green one with the small doors is gone, and this is actually basically a very similar shaped building, just a tiny bit shallower, but it's got overhead doors in it, and I think it matches the farm well. And there's something new in here if we take a look. We have a new to us used tractor, a 900 Fendt. This came up used 67% off. I had a fair number of hours on it. It's like 37, I believe it is. Very close to the same hours we had in our other Fendt. And so what I did is I paid out the Fendt and the John Deere, both of those, and then sold them off. We basically just broke even or was a little behind on that deal. But what it did do is get all of their uh, lease payments out of our system. And then I leased this one. A couple of reasons. It's got a lot of horsepower compared to what we had, 260 horsepower, and it has a CVT transmission. So it's going to be much more efficient, not only because it'll be able to pull the equipment we have at full speed, but there was a lot of shifting going on with that other tractor because it kept trying to get up to speed and it just didn't have the horsepower. Now, when I was running it, I would keep it locked in a gear with a manual transmission, but when the workers did it, yeah, they really struggled. So we made that change. Now we came out a little bit ahead on the building, and the new building didn't cost us quite as much as what we sold the other one for, about $8,000 or something like that. 8 to 10 we came out ahead. And then, like I said, on the tractor, we're a bit behind, about 10,000 from where we were when we were all said and done there. But I also leased to own this little beauty here, and now I'm sorry I did. And the reason is, if we go in and look at the contracts, this $6,000 deadwood contract came up. And so I was going to use the Can-Am to run down there and do it. And I am going to accept that contract. But then I decided I had kind of alluded to something I was waiting for. What I was waiting for, there is a very large deadwood contract that can show up. I think it's like 157 trees. I can't remember what the value of it was, like 80, 90. I know it's big. That's all I remember. And I was also have been told that it's worthwhile picking up the deadwood trees now. In 22, they were absolutely worthless. But if you run them through a sawmill, I'm told that it's not so bad. And so I've come up with a plan to do that. And we're going to do it on the 44 trees that are in that deadwood contract and see how we do. So I really didn't need this, but it's not that pricey, so we'll hang on to it for now. Oh, I didn't say where we're at money-wise. So let's look at the map here. And you can see we're at $329,000, just a little over. Now, I had written down the value of all the contracts I did off camera that were in November. Yes, and my granddaughter decimated that piece of paper. I left my book down where she could get a hold of it, and that was a mistake. So what I can tell you is we did $131,000 worth of contracts in December, but in November, but that included the ones that we did last episode. So that was for the entire month. And I can tell you off camera, all the ones I did were cultivating ones. And there was no real large ones, I think, that stood out. I think they were all like 8, 9,000, that kind of thing. And I honestly, I can't remember how many we did. Like 4 or 5, something like that. Anyways, that's where the money came from, but I can't explain it exactly because my memory isn't that good, and my documentation, the dog ate it. Let's go with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the shop here, and I am going to actually do a standard lease, more like a short-term rental than a lease. And I am going to lease this small telehandler here. Um, you know what? There was a configuration I wanted to do on it. So I'll do that off camera, but that's what I'm going to lease. I'm going to lease that. I am going to lease this log fork because it's a log fork with tension belts. Um, I heard it's pretty good. I've never used it, so we're going to give that a try because it allows us to be somewhat realistic. So I'm going to lease that, and I am going to lease. Where is down here, isn't it? And again, these are all going to be standard leases. The reason being is I can get out of them. If this turns out to be uh, go horribly wrong, then we'll bail on this equipment. And I'm going to lease this auto loading log trailer, not because it's auto loading, because it's nice and cheap. And I'm not saying I might not use that during this process, the auto loading portion, but that's not my intention right now. That's why I'm leasing the telehandler. So I'm going to lease all of that. And then if we back out here, if we go into the productions, we look at the sawmill on the map. I have a mod in that allows me to lease that. So I am going to lease that as well. So this is all going to be leased, and we're going to go and collect these deadwood trees and see if we come out ahead or behind. I would, like I said, I have it on pretty good authority, pretty reliable source that you do okay, but I haven't tested it myself. So let me get all of that good stuff leased and down to the plot, which I don't think it was too far away, actually. Where is it? Yeah, right here. Um, so it's not that far from the farm, but anyways, I'll get everything leased and down there, and we'll give this a go and see. I'm curious to see how we make out. If it works out really well, then we'll probably buy some of that equipment. So I'll get that done, and I'll meet you at the forestry plot. So I'll see you in just a minute. All right, we're down at the area where we need to take the deadwood out. We have all our leased equipment, as you can see. And as it turns out, it cost us $6,000 to lease this equipment. So the contract will cover that. And we'll just be on the hook for any hourly charges that come after the first hour, which I'm assuming there'll be some. Now, I backed the truck down in here because I was kind of hoping that the deadwood would extend out here to the road, but it didn't. So I couldn't leave the truck sitting on the road, or I didn't think I could when I drove the truck down here. I didn't think there was a big enough, wide enough spot to get the logs through, but actually, now that I look at it when I'm on foot, this one here probably would have been a big enough opening that we could have, got them out to the road. But I've already backed it in here so that we can load it. So for this load anyways, we'll leave it there. Now, I have done this contract once before. The trees are almost all of them are in this swampy area here. So at least we have that going for us. They're not too hard to find. But we might as well just get our chainsaw out here and grab a tree and get her cut down. I'm curious to see how that grab works. Can we get a little lower than that? Because we are going to have to maneuver around all these trees with the telehandler as well. Can't forget that. Oh, I guess I should have taken a look at which way I was dropping that tree. Oh yeah, it's a long ways from our gear. Oh, that's good. Alright, let's get this chainsaw spun around. Now I am going to delimb these, but I'm not going to worry about it if it's not the best job, just because we are not selling the wood. We're going to be putting it through the sawmill and processing it, so it's not as critical. Okay, now I have the lumberjack helper on, so it should let us know. I've got it set to 10 meters. I think that should be roughly half the tree. Gonna work here. Why is it not coming up? Do I need to have this business in the way? Yeah, it's definitely set there. Oh, there it is. So does that not show up? Oh, there. I don't know why it didn't show up the first time. So we don't need that hut in the way. There we go. I guess we could give that a quick zip and it would be perfect. There we go. All right. Let's jump in the telehandler. I'm really curious how this log fork is going to work out. Now, get it open here. Now, the trouble with these log forks that just had the single fork on it is the log would spin all over the place. So I'm assuming the tension straps now lock it down on there. Yes, indeed, that's what it does. So this might actually work out pretty good. I used to use a manure fork a lot of times to do this because they were fairly wide, and you know they had the fork ran along the whole. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Lift this up. Now I'm going to be able to get high enough without extending it. Now I think what we'll do is we will. Oh no. We are not in over there. We're up against the trailer, so we are not perfectly perpendicular to it, I guess. Ooh, doesn't like that. Let's extend this boom out here. That will just make life easier, I think. We'll lower it down like so. Now, we'll push the fork out. Oops, wrong button. And release the straps and it'll drop it right down. Perfect. Now, just take a little practice. And you get her aced, I'm sure. Now see how we make out picking this one up. Now I bet you could do, shouldn't have that boom ups traveling over this rough ground. Well, looks at those straps, I bet you could do the cheaty thing like this. Oh no. Or do you have to have this closed? Oops. Get that closed, and it's gonna try. Nope, you do actually have to get it in there, it seems like. Alright. Good to know. I thought it might be super cheaty, you could just lay it on top, like you do with some other things I've used. Oops. Oh, wrong. Oh, tension straps. I have to change the mode on my joystick between opening the clamp and extending the boom. A little bit of a nuisance. put the tension straps on? I didn't. So now I've got them locked at a cockamamie angle, of course. That's what makes it entertaining. Open that up. Turn the strap off. Drop it at a cockamamie angle. Way to go, Farmer Ruby. It's a little hard to see. I guess you can, you swing the camera around a whole bunch, but I was trying to avoid doing that. So that it wasn't so hard on you guys. I'll get that straightened out. Yes, I'll use super strength. But what I'm going to try and do, you've seen enough of that struggle, I'm sure. I'm going to try and make a cinematic out of some of this. So no promises on how that'll go, but I'm going to give it a try. So hopefully you can sit back and enjoy some tunes, or you'll see me back right away saying, no, that didn't work for you know what. So sit back and enjoy. Well, there we go. We have a load of logs on the truck. Hopefully you enjoyed the cinematic. I was commenting to Farmer Mike that I tried to make a logging cinematic and found it kind of difficult to get some good shots, so to speak. And he said he only made one logging cinematic and he never tried again for the same reason. So hopefully it went okay. I guess you'll already know. Yeah, it's still in my future to find out. I've still got to edit that. But we are 1/3 done the contract, or just slightly over 35% done. And like I said, we've got one truckload of logs to go to the sawmill. And you will have seen during the cinematic that there was an equipment change here on the telehandler. And I went for this, I think it's called the Liftwood mod, if I remember correctly. Let's go in the shop actually and take a look see. And it's here under front loader tools. Yeah, Liftwood. Um, and I tried this one first because it had the forks on it, and I thought I could actually pick up multiple logs with it. Well, and you can, but it was a bit finicky to do so. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, and it was pretty jittery on the front of the telehandler for reasons I'll explain here in just a moment. So what I ended up going with was this one here, which is just a straight bar, and you just drive up to the log, deploy the straps, and Bob is your uncle, so to speak. Not very realistic, but it did work good. Now, what I should have gone for, which also works really well, and is more realistic, is this front loader log fork with the two um, forks on it. It's got the straps on. It's just basically the front loader version of the telehandler one I was using. And I have used this on another map since I was working on here. And this actually does work really well. And a bit more realistic because you actually can gather the log in with these forks and then strap it in place. And that's what I couldn't do with the other one. It kind of wanted to pivot the log. Anyways, that is the story there. But these are front loader tools, as I mentioned. And so that meant I needed to use this adapter here, and it comes with a quickie bucket, and that allows us to put front loader tools on the telehandler. And I suspect that is the reason why that other log lift device was so jittery. It just didn't like being on that device. So you can actually see that on the telehandler there. It's that gray piece, but it's not an issue at all with this one. It's rock solid. So it is a little bit slow, one log at a time, but it does work. Now you'll also notice during the cinematic that there was a change of location of the truck. It was up here on the road. And the reason I did that was when it was parked down here on this hillside, the logs were interfering with each other and they were jittery on the trailer. And actually, by the time I jumped out of the telehandler and got in the truck to deploy the straps, some of them would actually jitter about halfway out of the trailer. So that was not very handy, let me tell you. So I found a path up through the trees here. Basically, if I come around this way, I can make it. And I loaded up here on the road, and that solved that problem. Now, for the last shenanigan, you want to guess what that facility is there right ahead of us? And if you guess the sawmill, you would be correct. It was a bit foggy when I set up here this morning. I never noticed that. And when I brought the truck back up on the road, I thought, oh, what is those buildings over there? And oh no, that kind of looks like a sawmill. Sure enough. So if we jump in the old truck here, we'll get her fired up. I'll keep you on board for the long trip to the sawmill. Hopefully you don't fall asleep or anything. But had I been paying attention and I known that was a sawmill, I probably would have set up differently to do this. I would have probably used our tractor, and there's a winch you can put on the back, and I would have just skidded the whole logs over here. I think that would have been faster than doing what we ended up doing. But yeah, there's our sell point for our logs, believe it or not. Now, this is the Riverbend sawmill, and if I recall from there correctly, the purchase point is out here someplace. Oh, there it is there. So, but we are not going to buy it. We are going to lease it. I put the mod in so we can lease facilities. So we're going to lease this. So if things go south, we're not committed to anything. So we're going to go ahead and do that. 821 a day, or a month, I guess that actually is. Now I did look, there is the museum, granary museum is on the map, and it is a constructible on here, and it's giving the best price for wood products. So we're going to make the wood products for the museum, which is this planks long. We will activate, and wood beams is looking. We'll activate that. It's the best price for those two products there, and I don't know if we'll actually complete the museum. Potentially, we'll see. But seeing as it's got the best price for woods right now, that's what we'll do. So now let's go unload our truck here and see what we get literage wise into the sawmill. This will be the proof in the pudding right here. Now that should have done it. Yes, it did. All right, here we go. You ready? Oh, 25,000 liters. So that's actually not too bad. So that means we'll get 75,000 liters if my math is correct or very close to it. What are the recipes like here? Planks long for 16 to 270, so about 2/3 approximately, and a little under half for wood beams. That's still going to be a fair bit of wood products. And what are the prices on those guys? Should have looked at what the price's actual value was. So yeah, 4 roughly, and wood beams 6. Yeah, I guess my information, my little bird was correct. It is worth doing. It is a bit time consuming, but yeah, it certainly looks like it's going to be worth doing. We're going to come out all right on that. Let's see. Don't really think we can get up there. I think we're going to have to turn around here, I guess, is our best option and get turned around. So I'll carry on and I will get this contract done and the logs put in the sawmill. It seems like it's definitely worth doing, but yeah, I think I'd try skidding the whole logs, just cutting them down and delimbing them and, skidding 2 or 3 over at a time and see how that would work. So close, because it does take a little while to load this up one tree at a time. Okay, let's get in here. Let's see if we can get in here and turn around. It is rough once you get off this road, boy. If we can cut up between these 2 trees, it will be good. So I'll carry on. Get this done. I'll return all the leased equipment, I think. I really would like to keep the telehandler, but we've got it more like we got in-game leasing, which is a lot like rental. So we'll return it, and I think we'll put a lease purchase on that because I realize we're going to have to move all those wood products when they come out, and we've also got some mushrooms and garlic we need to sell. So we need a loader of some sort, or we put a loader on our tractor would be the other option, I suppose. But in any event, problem for another day. I'll get this figured out once we get these trees knocked down. So I'll get this finished and I'll meet up with you and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into next. So see you in a little bit. Well, good morning. It is the next morning. It took most of the day to get that contract done, and we ended up with 72,000 liters of wood in the sawmill. So that's pretty sweet, but you're not going to believe this. Let's take a look at the contracts. It's back, baby. The same one. And you know what? I am just crazy enough to do that again, but we're going to do it differently this time. So let's accept that contract because it's so close to the sawmill, and we do have enough room in the sawmill. If we look here, sawmill, we're at 68,000 liters out of 140, so we can get another 72 in there, no problem. But I want to do, let's go look in the shop. Now I was thinking of doing this. There's two choices for winches here that we could put on our tractor and we could skid the logs out. But then I remembered this unit here from, where was that? In here, I believe. Yes. I used this in, I guess, FS25 on Silver Run, and it worked like a treat. Actually, does that one have a winch on the back? No, it does not. But yeah, and this, the beauty of this, where those other ones are where I can't remember 2 or 3 logs, this one will do, if it's the same, which I assume it is, will do 6 logs because it has 2 winch points here. So we could haul 6 full trees at a time and skid them to the sawmill. So that's what we're going to give a try. Now we're going to want the maximum, is that the maximum engine horsepower. And I think we'll put some fancy because it's got snow and we got to go up that hill. Boy, those that look like they should have some wicked grip. What's that? Just a little wider version. Oh, wider's always better, isn't it? What else do we have? Just quickly. Or just chains. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking those maybe we'll give a try. They're really different, but because there's snow on the ground. Now that's going to be a lot more pricey to lease for sure. What's that? 13 grand. Okay. All right. But let's lease it. And I am going to try my idea of skidding them to the sawmill. Hopefully that works and is a lot faster. So let me get our unit from the shop. Oh, shoot, I suppose. According to Hoyle, we probably should throw it on our trailer here and drag it down there. But you know what? We are running out of time for this episode, so I'll just sneak it down the road. I will get some trees cut down and we'll get them hooked up and skid them and see how it goes. So I'll meet you at the forested area and don't tell anybody I'm going to drive that thing down the road. Okay. Catch up with you in a few minutes. Okay. So I have got 6 trees cut down here. That's 15% of the contract. And yes, I use super strength to kind of get them lined up here so we could hook onto them easy. Ideally, realistically, I guess that's what you use these blades for, I would think, is to kind of push them together. But I took the easy way out. And now I was going to pull them from the other end, the light end, but I thought, you know what, it might be better to pull them from the heavy end. So what we're going to do here, now if I can remember the controls without having to look them back up again, grab the winch line. And of course, the joke will be on me if it doesn't hook onto 6 trees. I'm pretty sure it did. I used this a fair bit. So I think I'm pretty confident I'm right. Now again. Yes. And now we can take this winch line and hook on to the other 3 trees. So that's why I use this rather than, the much cheaper option, because it holds, or we can skid twice as many trees. Oh, did grab it, just didn't see it. And again. All right. Now, the moment of truth. Can we pull them out of here? Yes. So we snuck them right up. It might lift them. Did it lift them a little bit off the ground? Might have been. All right. Do we have the traction? And actually, there was no problem driving this down the road. Actually, on this map, with the snow, you can't tell where the road is. I actually had to follow traffic because it looks just like the field. Oh yeah, it's coming out of here, no problem at all. Sweet. Lots of traction. Yeah, it's you know, when you look ahead, you can't tell the road from the field. They're covered in snow, so there was no problem driving this down the road at all with these knobbly things on there. Oh yeah, this is working great. Probably a little hard on that wooden bridge, I would imagine. Right about there. I think that was a good decision to pull him from the heavy end. That should have been it. Did they disappear? Yes. Yes, they did. Yeah, that's way easier. It's going to be way quicker. Now, it is going to cost us a bit more. We're only going to recover about half of our lease cost. But still, we're going to make more than enough. Ooh, better be careful there. More than enough off of the lumber. So, I said I wasn't going to do any logging. Well, this isn't, I don't consider this traditional logging, that's for sure. I don't mind doing this deadwood, especially this one. This works out great. All right, I'll leave you guys there for this episode. I'm not sure when I'll bring you back. I'll jump ahead, probably end up being a couple months, I'm thinking. Any deadwood contracts we get, you know, will just have to be done in the traditional way. We won't be able to keep the wood because we won't have room to put it in the sawmill. So that's probably all that's going to happen around here. Oh, shoot. You know, we got to do something with the mushrooms and the garlic. Not worth wrapping an episode around, I don't think. So I might just have to look after him this time off camera. So I'll probably do that. So yeah, it'll likely be a couple months. Sorry about that. I kind of forgot about those guys, but I don't think we have time to deal with them now. So anyways, if you're still with me, I really appreciate watching. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Maizy Lou Farms, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.